through. Let's go ahead and get meeting started.
All right. Yeah, we ready to do the Pledge of Allegiance? All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes for the agenda items?
I have not been notified of any requests.
Okay. Oh, thank you for having that agenda there. That makes it a little easier from switching between spots there. Okay. So can we skip to the, there's no public comment, right, either?
We do have a guest in the audience. I will ask if the guest has to. Do you have any public comment for the board?
I just think you guys are doing a great job.
Thank you very much on behalf of the board. So much appreciated.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What was it?
Our guest said that she thinks that the board is doing a great job.
Oh, heck yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. All right. Okay, so we are moving on to section 5.0, the financial update report, starting out with 5.1, the year-end financial report. Thanks, Nicole. Is that
Nicole, we can't hear you. We still can't hear you, Nicole. We can't hear you. She's muted now, not muted now. She's not muted. Sound is working here. And if it's working for Jen, it should work for Nicole.
Hello?
There you go. Now
There. Okay. I did a test and it worked. Okay. So this is a year-end presentation to show you where we landed fiscal year 23-24. This is just a fund summary of all of our funds: general fund, capital projects fund, debt service, ASB, and transportation, where you can see our beginning fund balance, our revenues, expenditures, and our ending fund balance. And on the next slides, we'll dive in a little deeper of how that all breaks down. But we ended our ending fund balance in August of 24 at $1,018,782.49. Next slide. This is a slide to talk about our enrollment. Our enrollment increased by 4.33 FTE in 23-24. We budgeted to have 82 kiddos, so we were up. And our average enrollment was 85.91.
So we are going against the trend that a lot of surrounding districts are going through. So that's good news for us.
And this slide just recapping that our ending fund balance increased by 173,509 over the 22-23 fiscal year. The reason we increased our fund balance was the district's finances were claimed, the grants were claimed, and we managed all the funds pretty closely. And the reason why we like to have a healthy fund balance is to have flexible dollars to buy things that maybe the state doesn't fund us for, because they don't fund us for everything. And Bond Council recommends that we have a healthy enough balance to cover 2 months worth of expenditures if we were to have no incoming dollars. And here's a fun summary. Basically, this is just the report that you get in your monthly packet every month, except this one will show you in the first column our actual 22-23 the second column is where we budgeted 23-24, and then the next column is our actuals for 23-24. So you can kind of see the differences there.
Nicole, under state general purpose, we have a sizable increase there of 198,000. What is that attributed to?
So, without doing more digging, state and federal would be all of our money that comes from the state. So our FTE general apportionment is a 3,000, which is state money, and any grant that would have been a state grant would be in the 3,000s.
Thank you. Tell me if you want me to move on or slow down or.
And then this slide breaks down our revenues by source. And you'll see some of them. No, that's the other side, sorry. You'll see the ESSER dollars and some of those revenues in places that will be going away. That decrease those revenues. And then it breaks it down there for you. So our total revenues was 3,185,858. And then here's our expenditures by program. So it breaks it down, basic education, district-wide. This is where you'll see like our ESSER that is going to be going away. Then expenditures by activity, just another way of breaking down all of our expenditures. And it's also comparing our actuals in the first column to our actuals of this year or this past year. So you can see the differences there. And then expenditures by objects, so another way of breaking down our expenditures. And you can see there that our salaries and benefits for the district is about 70%. A lot of districts are towards 80%. And then supplies and purchase services.
And a lot of these purchase services are to support our special education program, funding physical therapists, school psychologists. So instead of having certificate salaries, it's in purchase services with third-party companies.
And then summary of our capital projects fund, which is also the same report you get monthly for your board packet. This one just breaks down the actuals where we landed 22-23, so you compare them to our actual in 23-24 if you'd like to have that comparison. And then one for debt service, which doesn't have a lot of activity. And our ASB fund. And our transportation vehicle fund. And that is all. Unless anybody has any questions about 23-24's financials.
Was there anything in the financials that caused you surprise or something we didn't plan for or out of the ordinary, I guess?
No, I think we did a good job. We've increased our fund balance continuously through the year. So I feel like we landed in a really good place. And then this is our 3-year average cash graph showing that the district has $960,000 in cash. Cash is how we calculate that as our treasurer's statement. We take our cash plus our investments we have minus our warrants outstanding, and that's where the $960,000 comes from. And then, yeah, the orange line was our minimum fund balance. I forgot to point that out. Sorry. That we like to have that orange line to show you that we are above where our minimum fund balance policy is for the district. This is our general ledger trial balance, showing our assets and liabilities and where we are with our equities. And this report here is an optional report. We started including it so that we could show you that we are balancing to the county treasurer every month. But now that we actually tie and have no differences, it's optional to you if you're going to continue to see this report.
So transportation.
So this is the county treasurer report where I take our total cash there and you add it to your ending investment balance and you minus out your cash or your ending warrants, and that's how we come up with that 960,000 that you see on our cash graph.
One report, please. There it is.
And this is our budget status report showing the general fund has an ending fund balance of 965,847, which is a 25% ending fund balance. And our capital projects fund has an ending fund balance of 560,187. Our debt service fund has $30. Our ASB fund has 29,632. And our transportation vehicle fund has 16,163. Any questions?
Yeah, that all looks good to me.
Thank you very much, Nicole. We appreciate your time and all your work.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
Yeah, super appreciate it. Thank you. On to section 6, the consent agenda review.
there was just one item I
We want to talk
call attention to.
Good.
The stipend for Jessica Lewis in helping us develop our strategic plan. So we make sure I highlighted this for the board's review. I saw that.
Yes, it looks great.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Anyone seconding?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. All right. Thank you. All right, then coming up to section 6, the additional reports. We can start out with 7.1, Eastern Strategic Development Plan, or Plan Development, sorry.
We talked a little bit about this during our listening session, but I've listed numerous different strategic plans so you get kind of an idea of what they can look like, the end product. But we do have a timeline that we've developed with listening sessions, first of which was tonight, and then throughout the next few months, along with staff sessions and an online survey that will probably be launching probably after Thanksgiving week, it's that early December.
Nice. Okay. Who's putting that together? Is that pretty much you and the strategic team, or?
Jessica and I are putting that together.
Okay. Heck yeah. And the samples were excellent that are in here.
Kind of get what it look like and kind of the feel and whatnot. It is a roadmap for us.
Hopefully that's something that people taking the survey will be able to reference. All right. Any other comments around that at the moment? Or I'll be in person for the next 2, so December and January listening sessions.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, the operations report. Mr. Brenning there to run with
Brennan's
us.
here.
All right.
All right, so playground, north playground chain link fence installation is complete to satisfaction, aside from the 20-foot gate. There was some confusion there as far as what happened there. But well, there was a communication gap there. They were confused about the 20-foot access gate versus putting in a 20-foot gate at the so not really sure what happened there, but I didn't want to allocate the additional funds towards that. That's something we can put in a later date, but my primary concern was just getting that front fence in. It looks good, and it is effective. And, I left the ecology blocks in front of it, so any snow buildup or whatnot will rest against those ecology blocks rather than the fence. So that should hopefully help preserve that. So that project is complete. Dead spots in the basketball court, those have been resolved. There's a small section that I'd still like to fill with foam, but the foam was a good alternative to just nailing the floors down. Over time, the foam will break down, and in that case, you inject more foam there, but it does prevent the floor. Once you nail the floor down, sometimes what can happen is the section next to where it's nailed down will then lift up. The foam will prevent that. So anyway, I was able to get that foam in there. There's some additional dead spots on the outside areas of the court, kind of on the sidelines that I'm gonna also inject some foam there. I need a 24-hour period for it to cure, so I'll have to wait till we don't have some weekends or anything before I can do that. Scoreboards, the bulbs have all been replaced on there, and it looks good. Shot clocks, we've got new shot clocks that has been installed, and then I'm just waiting for the remaining cages to come in so we can put those on to protect our new shot clocks. On the Easton, or on the cafeteria hallway wall down there, if you guys venture down there at all, we do have the Easton decals that have been posted on the wall. They're like 10-foot, 9-foot decals.
They're tall.
They're massive. They look awesome. It says Easton, so I get some Easton pride going there. And then we've also put some on the steps out here. If you guys saw those when you were walking up the steps, that was a nice touch. Thank you, Mr. Aaron Comble, for that idea. It looks really good. Water testing for the school. The water testing that I did does not satisfy the regulations for the state. So I have partnered with the Department of Health. They're going to come in. I'm just waiting for them to set up an appointment. They can come out. They test all drinking fountains and faucets where we get our drinking water from. They'll test for lead contaminants within that. I don't expect that we should find any with the test results that I conducted. There were none, with the exception in the concessions, very, very small amount. To mitigate that, I plan on putting inline filtration systems in there, and that should eliminate any lead particles there. It'll be interesting to see the comparison with what the Department of Health gets versus what I got on there. But with that said, once the Department of Health comes in and they are able to complete the water testing, that'll satisfy the state requirements. The lead testing, we can post it up on our webpage for the public to see that and everything. And then 3 years from that point, we'll do another one. So every 3 years after that. Let's see, the front door window, you'll notice, is broken out there. I do have All City Glass working on that, getting measurements, and provided me with an estimate so we can get that repaired as quickly as possible. I asked them about getting glass with the wire mesh in it, just to kind of bolster the window a little bit better. They said that that was something that they could definitely work into the estimate. So I'll be in contact with them and make sure we get something done on that end.
Just to note, it was accidental, it wasn't
Yeah,
intentional.
it was not a vandalism thing, snowball, ice ball, anything like that. It was an accidental thing. Chilly morning, student came in for basketball practice, knocked on the window, and he gave out. But yeah, so that isn't work, it's getting replaced, so we'll be working on that. With the snowfall, I was able to get out there and get the tractor moving,
Whew.
plowing. Great. So I'm happy about that. It pushed heavy wet snow, a whole pile of it across the park. Pretty happy with that.
Ken's on the side of the road.
And then, so we have the drink. We have one clogged drinking fountain there. Whether it's coffee being poured down the drain or just other things other than water poured down the drain, it has clogged it. I wasn't able to get it unclogged. I tried vinegar, snaking it. Nothing. I didn't want to pressurize the line. It causes a rupture. So I have contacted plumber, Boiler Plumbing, out of Ellensburg. Solved, and then he's also going to fix the fountain here in West Home. It's got a leak in the line. It's a copper max line. Probably locating fittings. Be able to. On to transportation. Our new bus 4 had Washington State Convention. It passed flying colors, so it did great. Also, bus 3, it didn't have the decals at the time, so it didn't pass inspection. But when I call them up and have another inspection, it should be just fine. I'll have the decals on and everything. Look at the wheelchair lift, and they said it's great. Stuff, so and that completes my presentation.
Great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Jeff? Good. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. All right, the superintendent report.
Thank you very much. November enrollment is up a little bit. We're at 88 head count, 84.7 FTE. I do understand that one of our 9th grade students will be moving back over to the west side, so that will probably one family reasons. So nice student, but family first. Here's our ongoing enrollment for the year. So numbers are still solid. Talk a little more about enrollment here at the end of my report. Some plans for that. Here are the results from the recent November elections for statewide levies and bonds. Of the 14 bonds that were out there by school districts, only 4 of them passed. See the Port Angeles, Sumner, Cheney, and Union Gap. By and large, with maybe the exception of Union Gap, fairly decent sized school districts, especially with Sumner and Cheney. This is kind of the trend that we're seeing, that not supporting bonds. Obviously, all the operational levies passed, and most of the capital levies passed as well. So at least that's passing. But it needs 60% to pass a bond. You can see some of those are above 50%, and if it was just a simple majority, they would have passed as well. But that's not the world we live in right now. I did some calculations just to show how the system is stacked against smaller communities and small school districts. Sumner, Bonnie Lake, they went out for a $732 million bond. $750 million. Huge bond. And what it's going to do to their tax rate, 0.70 cents per thousand. Where Meridian, where I live, they did a $75 million bond. Look what it did to our tax right there. More than double, or almost more than double. So, in Sumner, taxpayers are doing $280 per thousand, or for a $400,000 home. where in Meridian, it's 522. So you see, the system is rigged against us. It's rigged against us. And you look at some of these larger districts, they're not even doing loans anymore. Kent, Issaquah, like Washington, they're doing levies. It's 4-year levy. So why are they doing that? Well, it only requires 50%. Yeah. And the impact to their tax base is minimal, a couple cents. So the system is against us and only getting worse. So I would put it, we are in the middle of a statewide fiscal crisis for K-12 schools. Currently, these 6 schools are in binding conditions, which means they have state oversight on their finances. I did see an email or an article today that LaConner is actually out of binding conditions, which is great. Marysville is on kind of step 2 of binding conditions, which they call enhanced OSBI oversight, which basically means no POs or purchase orders get approved, no staffing gets approved without whoever is on site from OSBI approving it. Last spring, these districts were basically kind of put on financial warning with a formula that Director Reardon and I kind of sat through part of the presentation on of how they got to that point. But you can see we have 20-some school districts that are in trouble, all different sizes. I mean, these are quality systems, quality school districts, but if things don't change at the state level, this list is just going to get longer and longer and longer. And these are pretty trying times. The state has done some budget forecast. Budget forecast is anywhere between $3 and $8 billion less. So some reductions are on the way, but again, in the state constitution, K-12 is the paramount duty of the state, K-12 education. And right now, we're not being funded as the paramount duty. So we'll see what happens in, excuse me, when they start up after the start of the year. I included this little article just about what binding conditions are, what are the causes. Causes are inflation. The causes are the amount that we receive from the state has not kept up. We used to be at 52% of the overall state budget. Now we're down to 42, 43%. And this last one here is also very important. Is student needs are increasing, but the building state funding is not. Our kids come from some pretty terrible situations, and unfortunately that seems to be increasing in complexity. But the funding that you can take care of those kids has not increased. So just thought I'd add that. We're still looking for a nurse. I have fortunately had a conversation with a retired nurse who lives just off West Nelson Road, so we might be able to have her come on board. She's seeing if she can reactivate her nursing certificate, and so we might be able to have her come on board. So there's a little bit of glimmer of hope. Felt like my superintendent report was a lot of doom and gloom, which I'm sorry, it's that way, but we got some issues with it. I recall entered into the environmental research project with Dr. Cheryl Lewis from Washington State University, involving our kids in some of the testing. We invested quite a bit of dollars in some of the testing equipment that we still have up on top of the school, so we can monitor air quality and noise and particulate matter. The results came back mixed. In terms of water and soil samples, we are within guidelines. However, what I have kind of highlighted there in the yellow is our noise exposure to students is significantly higher than it should be. From what Dr. Lewis said, there are no specific guidelines other than from American Association of Pediatricians and the World Health Organization about sound and dealing with youngsters. OSHA has requirements for adults, but not for students. We do know that kids are more sensitive to noise, so come up with a plan to how we can address this. So now that we have this information, what do we want to do as a district in terms of following up on this?
I'm curious on that, because at some point they're gonna open this highway up, right? They're gonna expand it to
Like-
3 lanes.
I would assume so, yeah.
So I wonder if at that point in time, it's possible to get a wall or something to mitigate.
I think the district has made numerous requests to DOT, and all of those have kind of fallen on, no pun intended, but deaf ears.
Yeah, I'm just curious why in some areas along interstates, there's walls and others portions there's not. I don't know if there was some type of new legislature that was passed requiring it in certain residential areas or.
I have a feeling it has to do with population density. But as I mentioned, Easton School District is closer to I-90 than any other school in the state of Washington. I've driven I-90 from stem to stern, and other than Lewis and Clark High School, which is a building enclosed, we are the closest with our kids to I-90. So, as you know, I've done some press releases to the Tribune, to the Daily Record, help kind of tell our story a little bit. And also reached out to OSPI for some guidance. I would say OSPI at this point doesn't quite know what to do with that, so I will be researching it. I actually talked with the executive director of WASA, which is the Administrators Association for the state. He suggested that we look at working with our local legislators, and perhaps during the next legislative session, armed with this information, we can get a budget proviso. Every year you'll see at the state budget, there's always these singleton projects. You suggested that might be a way that we could look at having our attorney draft something. Well, is another option of scientific data with class 1 instruments verified by a scientific journal that sound out there is potentially harming our students.
Well, I think, yeah, at this point now that we have the data, we have the numbers, we have the information telling us that that's an issue. We have to do something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, and at the end of the day, the school was here first.
Before the highway.
Or maybe because
So is there anything that we can be doing, that the kids are wearing like earplugs or something when they're outside?
We certainly could, during the absolutely. Certainly wouldn't require the kids to wear. Playground. Something we could provide.
Letters. Alex, Craig's, Tom, and they'll care and they'll take care of it if they're on asked to. And Alex has a very serious spot B12 is one of his. I know that. Okay.
Draft a letter on our behalf.
That's thing too. Make sure you send it to Tom and
Oh,
Judy,
absolutely.
but Alex is the one that will jump on that very quickly. Alex all work very, very well together.
I will have that ready for. I was saying, I felt my report was a little bit of doom and gloom, so I tried to some good news.
they go right in.
varsity basketball teams practice on the 18th. Down to the gym last night while they were practicing. And to see, 25, 30 kids down there practicing basketball with multiple coaches is awesome. Considering where we came from back in, was it 2021 when I got here to where we are now with the kid participation, everything goes to the coaches and Kyle for his work as an athletic director. But seeing our kids excited, it's pretty darn cool. With our size of our school that we're able to offer and field, 2 varsity teams where schools sometimes 2-3 times our size can't for either the boys side or the girls side, but we can as 37 kids in our high school. That's really cool. So kudos to our coaches and to our kids and to our
Well,
families.
even be able to do middle school basketball teams.
Absolutely.
I don't remember us having that.
That's awesome.
And granted, I think they're wearing the old high school uniforms, but
Yeah, some of them are kind of been up the shorts of
especially when my kids are short 17.
Yes, some of those smaller kids need some smaller clothes.
They were all down there having a lot.
Okay. I just felt bad the day that those shorts were falling off for some of the games.
awesome. I believe we have a part-time music teacher. We'll start second semester.
Woo-hoo!
Finalizing details, but it looks like she will be teaching 1 period of elementary music where the kids will rotate. Maybe 1 week it's K1, next week it's 2-3, next following week it's 4-5. And then a high school elective class. We have some kids that want music and it fits nicely into some of the other electives that we have for the high school. So yes, we're still finalizing that, but
What room are they gonna be doing it in?
probably in
Our room.
it's depending on if she wants to do strings or keyboarding or guitars, you gotta have some room.
Yeah.
Art room's probably the best choice for that. We did budget for it last year. Nicole and I did have that conversation.
Fantastic. Thank you.
And, we got her today. She's very much looking forward to it. Another good news, we have new tags and customize whatever you want. There's prices from $100 sweatshirt to sweatshirt. Customization. Lastly, I mentioned something about enrollment. Started my report. We are now contracted with a company. Learn more about them with their link, but they're gonna already working with us to develop some social media ads that are targeted to our local area here.
Nice.
To come to Easton. I don't know how they do it, what algorithms they use. That's their business, but it's been very successful with other districts. The cost is pretty nominal for what we're doing. And even if we get 1 student here for, let's say 1 period, that's pays for itself, over and over again. So if we're happy with the results, we'll look at it again, maybe at the end of the year. So as families are maybe thinking about, okay, what am I gonna do next year for school? Kind of target that with some ads of all the great things that Easton is doing. And we're gonna target kind of the semester break too, kind of December, January, February to see if school parents want to look at a different option for the kids.
Nice.
I think you're going to start seeing this more and more with districts as student population goes down, low birth rates, and enrollment issues are causing issues with districts. So we're going to start seeing Facebook ads for the pictures are our kids. Oh, yes. So, and that was one of my research.
There's 92.
And that's my doom and gloom, a little bit of happiness. So.
Yeah,
Good
very
job.
nice. I'm very excited about that whatever it was just called, mint.
School mint. I mean, they're
School
working with
mint.
some
Yeah.
big districts, really unified, so just a mom and pop organization.
Those are things that very active.
Yeah, so
Purchasing different.
again, cost for us to do this little 3-month trial, very minimal. That concludes my reports.
Thank you very much. All right, 7.4, board member reports. Anybody have anything to share?
I've got one thing I want to bring up. I actually want to bring up something. So we have students that they go out.
Go in and use the bathroom.
And sometimes these students end up anyway. And they're not wearing any high vis, nothing. I feel like we should be protecting these students when they're out along roadways with some form of safety garment or something that just makes them more stand out more.
Our department members require their wear anything high vis in their.
Yeah,
The cadets,
Our department.
okay.
so I feel like, especially when they're on the interior side. Yeah, I mean, I would
Absolutely, high vis, even like tear away higher.
We'll get it done.
And probably one other thing is, since we are getting all these different sports started, is practice sports. I had trouble. Maybe I was just
Supposed to end. When we're like it has to. 5 o'clock. I don't know what days of practice.
Newsletter. If I'm not mistaken, students aren't supposed to be without mental, correct? Am I correct in that?
I need to know the context.
As far as like practice.
One thing, are they?
Bye bye. Do you have my phone number? Yes. I think it's just not like me into this gas station thing.
20 for about. That's all. I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. Debrief from the WASTA conference. So excited to hear how that went for you both.
Yes, Rick and I attended the WASDA conference. I headed over Thursday afternoon. Really talked about my experience. I was reflecting over the weekend. The best conference of the week. I would say if we don't have a now, I would not attend in Seattle. The sessions I felt weren't very applicable to schools our size. I guess in my estimation, a little bit inordinate focus on AI. I understand that AI is very important and is going to kind of change things, but we have also a lot of things that we're also continue to working on. And I guess to me, it's a little bit misguided to focus everything on AI when we got schools that can't pay the bills. It felt a little strange to me. So priority.
Yeah, that's weird. Funny.
Potential risks. By this fixation, I'll call it, on AI versus how about a fixation on school funding and keeping, the lights on, the doors open in schools. So I was not overly impressed, and I think Director Reardon maybe has a similar experience.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of conferences. None of them have been school board conferences. That was interesting. I would agree with Aaron. It was very centralized on big schools and AI, which was weird. I mean, like Aaron was saying, everybody's in this crisis with funding, and we had 5 minutes that we heard from the gentleman on legislative priorities and that kind of stuff. It's like, I felt like that should have taken precedent over AI. Kids are going to figure it out. They're going to know how to use it. We all know how to use Google. we figured that out when we went from encyclopedias to Google. Now they're all going to figure out AI. And those of us sitting at this table are going to be the ones who are lagging behind, but we're not the ones who are in school. So a little different.
It seems interesting to me that it's still relatively new and they're pushing it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're not even allowing it a couple years to get, and then they just want to roll it into education.
Yeah, I agree.
Cost savings.
Like what other industries are using it?
Realtors.
Is it effective?
Building maintenance.
Yeah, it's super effective. In all
Tech.
sorts of text, marketing, social media. I punch in all my information into a real estate specific
Right. So
team.
easy button.
It's super easy. Now, it's not perfect, which is really what they're trying to do, is teach the kids how to use it effectively. Because when you throw in your prompt and you're asking it something, they're teaching them how to decipher, okay, this is what I actually need and how to edit it, which is useful. But again, it hasn't been around for very long. So why not let the adults
Right. I would much
monkey
rather.
their way?
In cursive.
Right, exactly.
Oh, God, no.
We see school board meetings packed with people over cutting,
Funding.
riffing staff.
Yep.
And, the financial piece of it, so.
Well, it seems like the whole topic of AI is just to be more
Hands off.
well, just so that a way you can do more quicker, right? So
Efficiency's
with
big.
budget cuts, and now you got one person doing the job of 3 people, well, now they can, now you have AI. And I just,
No, I understand what you're saying.
It was interesting.
Yeah,
And then they
that's not
told
infiltrating my field.
Then they told us that the conference next year was in downtown Seattle, and Aaron and I looked at each other and we're like, oh yeah, no, hard pass. It's not.
Nope.
In Seattle, not Bellevue?
Yeah, they outgrew Bellevue, so they have to go to, I think, the Hyatt in Seattle.
Oh, us and all the Amazon employees. We won't be able to get there.
The one session that I thought was pretty good was we saw North Shore School District and very affluent school district go through kind of their budget flows and their process.
North Shore is-
And it really stemmed from contracts agreed upon by the district. The labor unions that district could afford. They signed the contract, weeks later, they requested. I'm assuming some of those people aren't there anymore at North Shore with that kind of decision making, but they're in financial trouble, but it was hard to, again, extrapolate, okay, here's what North Shore is doing with 5,000 students. Easton with 90 to 100. There was just a lot of that. We did go to a small schools forum. Small schools forum most of the time was she's actually the presenter that wrote that binding condition. Public relations, talking about communication, but we can't afford her. Why at a small school forum do you put in somebody that probably nobody in the room can afford to have their stuff? There was just some disconnect.
Like the relevance for the small schools.
How we make that. Small schools. Second class district.
Let's put it this way. Finance class that I was like excited about in the sense that I thought it site that kind of stuff. Yeah, Nicole has an email from me. So I'm just gonna speak it's that I learned nothing from that one session. So
And we left early because it was so.
yeah.
People were nice, but it was just not what we needed. So
Yeah.
again, doom and gloom from Mr. Bumble this month. I'm sorry, but like I said.
Well, I just wanted to thank you all for going to that. Sorry, it was such a bummer one this year.
No worries.
It wasn't worse than the drive, because that is the most boring drive in this whole state. Like, the whole state, like, by the time you get to Emmonsburg, you at least advantage, but then basically after this advantage, and you're like, are we done?
Brownfield's burnt.
I
Once it
know.
closes, it's terrible. That is.
It's us.
Not a stellar conference, I'll put it that way.
All right. Any other comments there for Wasta conference?
Man.
Well, I think I've said enough, probably too much.
Yeah. All right. So executive session details. I wasn't sure if we were having one because it was mentioning the October 22nd meeting.
Yeah, I did. I forgot to change it. I'd like to have an executive session for approximately 10 minutes.
Okay. That sounds good. You guys just want to call me?
Can we make a motion to dismiss into executive?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
You're not going to be able to call me on my phone because I don't. Oh wait, no, I do have my phone back now. You can call me on it. 425-864-2839. It's been repaired. Woohoo. All right, thanks.
I am going to running and running. Thank you, audience member. I'm gonna leave the video. Back on. Okay. Is Jen with us?
I thought we were coming back.
You wanna take over for the good of the district?
Sure. Okay, so we have to motion to start the meeting again, right?
Then make a motion to reopen the regular meeting.
All right.
Second it.
All in favor?
Hi.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Jen's here. We didn't know if you were with us. Sorry.
Oh, thank goodness he was heading.
I know, I couldn't push the mute and button, wasn't working. All right. Yeah, are we ready to move or close out of the executive session, resume the regular meeting?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and for session 10, for the good of the district, can we share some more good news before the holiday here?
Well, sure. I do have some good, after working on it for a few months and months, I actually brought one of the old Wildside triple chairs down to the school yesterday from the ski area that the ski area gave to the school. And
Yay.
I will help load it, and I think there's big plans for it, but we finally got the triple chair here.
Yeah.
Cool addition up to the lobby out there.
Nice.
Love it.
Been
That's-
here on Thursdays for the last 3 weeks, all day, hanging out, getting to know the kiddos. It's been good. It's been fun volunteering.
We've been doing.
What haven't I been doing? I've hit everything.
Did you figure out which two are mine yet?
You know, I'm still working on names. I'm
One of
pretty
them-
sure I know which one of yours is. And Paul's stuff, right? Yep. So,
And the other one looks nothing like it.
Mullets.
But they both have mullets. And Danny has the longest mullet in the school.
Christ. I'm sure I'll see it this time now, next week when I'm here, I'm sure I'll see it. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been really good.
That's awesome.
Middle schoolers in PE though, holy Moses. They're a lot. Kyle's a saint. I don't know how he does it. But he loves it. So it's been really good and it's been very helpful for me to just be able to see what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
What they need.
That's awesome, Haley. Thanks for getting in there and volunteering.
So the staff love seeing you here at the school, and a couple of kids have asked me.
Oh yeah. Who's that lady who's locked outside because she doesn't have a key?
Who's that?
That's my boss. Leave her outside.
So it's been good though. Staff are awesome. It's been really fun to just get to see what they're all doing. It's great when lunchtime comes around and Mr. Bernard comes in with some idea for outdoor ed and gets so excited about it. And then I get to see how excited the kids get about it. It's really cool. It's super fun.
They're good.
They are.
They're great kids.
They are fabulous. So
Well, I could figure they're all products of their environment, so it's.
That's the one thing I'll say I've missed now that both my kids are out of school is, excuse me, school events. Not that I can't come. But,
Yeah.
you know, just that.
it's different. It's different when you
It's
don't
different.
have your own kid here.
Yeah.
And I don't have any, so unless you guys want to start taking furry four-legged students, we're gonna just keep on hanging out with all the kiddos here and get to know them.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing but good things. All the students seem like they're happy. They enjoy the programs that are going on now. It's just, like I said, I don't know.
And kudos to the staff.
I don't remember it
members.
being like that when we went here.
No,
So that's amazing.
no, we did not have middle school sports when I was here.
Right, no, school is like a good outlet for them,
Mhm.
you know, whereas like us, it was more of an institution.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
Yes.
Well, and it's one of those things, when I come down and pick up my kid from middle school basketball practice. That's when high school basketball practice started, and there's still 30 kids here.
Yeah, just hanging out.
Yep. So I mean, that's really cool to see.
I mean, it is, it's, from where we were, to where we are now,
Yeah,
night and day, and I credit the coaches and Kyle for doing that.
5 years ago at 305, this place was.
Yep.
Staff members.
True
here,
story.
Students seem like they love all the staff members here.
Yeah.
Great relationships with them.
I mean,
Everyone else-
interaction,
No, that's
really
awesome.
neat to see.
That's really cool.
We've got a great team, so thank you for saying that.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Then let's call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion. During the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Woo! Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanks, Jen.
Now
Thank
you're
you,
gonna go eat
Jen.
dinner.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you, Jen.
Mom.